Here we go. Warning, unsolicited observation coming. What would you do if you saw those words come across the screen of your phone? You know, about 3 years ago, my friend Kara, who's on this call right now, actually sent those words to me, and it was in the middle of a really dark season of my life. You know, I was already feeling down and out, and to be totally honest with you, I really did not want somebody else's unsolicited observation when I was already feeling not so awesome. So let me take you back a couple of months to give you some perspective about why I was feeling that way. So 7 months before I got that message, I had a dream that I was drowning. And this dream, it really freaked me out. It caused me to have this sense of panic. And the reality is that I was feeling like I was drowning emotionally and at work. And my dream was sort of like the sign from my body that that was actually going on. And I was feeling overwhelmed, and I was putting tremendous pressure on myself. And I'd always been someone who just like pushed really hard, and it was all catching up with me. And a couple of months after that happened, I got really sick, and I ended up getting diagnosed with an aggressive form of mono called Epstein-Barr virus. And when that happened, I lost my voice. I was more exhausted than I've ever been. I had the worst sore throat of my life. I had swollen lymph nodes. And what had basically happened is I had burned out, and I was only 32 years old. So I want to give you some context. When I got that message, like, that's the state of mind that I was in. But I decided to be brave and to keep reading. And what Kara said to me is, she said, you know, you share all these things on social media about the importance of slowing down and not focusing so much on achievement, but you don't really seem to slow down yourself. And what she said next felt like a gut punch to me. She said, you don't seem content or fulfilled. And then she said, I wish you would just believe all the amazing things that you share with all of us. And I'm going to be honest with you that when I read those words, I felt so exposed, and I felt kind of embarrassed, because for so much of my life, I had really focused on making sure that everyone knew how together I had it all the time. Like, I was the golden child. I was the one that's like, yeah, I've got it together. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm happy. Like, I've got this. And I wanted people to be impressed by me. And I wanted to just prove and perform and achieve. And I thought that that was the thing that was going to lead to love and acceptance for me. And I did a really good job of hiding anything that might make someone think less of me. So I hid my fear, and I hid my pain, and I hid my sadness, and I hid my insecurities, and I hid anything that would make me look inadequate or incompetent in any way, especially at work. But Kara saw right through it. And she was right. You know, she could tell that I was not content or fulfilled. And I wasn't content, and I wasn't fulfilled. I was exhausted, and I was burned out. And as much as I felt uncomfortable and as much as I felt embarrassed, I knew what I had to do in that moment is I had to start getting honest with myself, and I had to start getting honest with the people in my life. And so I wrote her back, and I said, thank you. And I said, you're right. And I'm working on it, and I'm trying to figure out, and this is hard, but thank you for your courage and being honest with me and being brave and initiating that. And then, you guys, the craziest thing happened. So Kara texted me on March 23rd, 2017. And then the next day, like within 24 hours, my friend Tori, who's on the call as well, she texted me out of the blue. And she said, I don't know what you're going through right now, but I love you, and you will get through this. I promise. And then she wrote, push, pray until something happens. And I got to admit, you guys, like, I went from feeling so hopeless and overwhelmed and alone in like 1 second. And then within a day, because of the courage of my friends who thought about me, I felt seen and known, and like I mattered. And I realized I wasn't alone. Like, sometimes when we're going through these seasons of struggle and difficulty, all we need to know is that we're not alone, is that somebody cares. Like, that's what we need. And that's what they gave me. You know, Kara and Tori, they were bright lights in a very dark season of my life. And they showed me what it means to be unmuted. And I'm so passionate about this idea of getting unmuted, because for so much of my life, like I said, I silenced myself. I silenced all those things that were uncomfortable. And they showed me what it is to be unmuted, to use my voice and to use our voices to speak up and to speak out and to spark hope and goodness in the world. And here's what I learned from them. I learned that when someone pops into your mind, that you don't overthink it, you don't overanalyze, you don't question it and wonder why. Don't hesitate. initiate. Don't hesitate, initiate. Reach out when they come to your mind, reach out to them. Like think of all the times where someone's popped into your mind or they've come on your heart and you didn't reach out. Like maybe you hesitated, or maybe you felt uncomfortable, or maybe you felt weird, or maybe you thought like, well, I wouldn't normally, that'd be really weird if I reached out to that person and said I was thinking of them. Like they're going to think I'm crazy. Or maybe you just got sidetracked and you forgot about it. You know, whatever it is, there's no judgment here, but the reality is that when someone comes into our mind, there is a reason that they come to our mind, and it's not up to us to understand why, but it is up to us to do something about it and to take action. You know, we're in a difficult season right now, a really difficult season, and maybe you've lost a job, or maybe you've been furloughed, or maybe your significant other's been furloughed, or maybe you're working 12-hour days, or you're trying to balance 3 Zoom calls with homeschooling 2 kids and trying to get dinner on the table without losing your mind. Like, I don't know exactly what it is that you're going through, but I do know this. I know that no matter what's going on in your life right now, that you have the power to use your voice for good, to be a source of hope for people, to be a source of light, to be an encourager. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to think of someone who's been on your mind lately. I want you to write their name down. Like, do it now as you're listening. Someone who's been on your mind lately, or maybe they popped in your mind today. Write their name down. And then what I want you to do before you go to bed tonight, before you go to bed, I want you to reach out to them. And I don't care whether it's a text message or a phone call or a voice text or Marco Polo or an email or a carrier pigeon. Like, I don't care how you get the information to them, but I want you to let them know that they are on your mind and that you care about them. To say, hey, something like, hey, you've been on my mind lately and I wanted to reach out. Do you have time to catch up in the next couple of days? I would love to talk to you and hear how you're doing. Like, you could be a lifeline for them. You might be the person that 3 years from now, they're telling a story about you because when they were in their season of darkness, you reached out to them and you made them feel like they matter and you made them feel seen. So before we go, I want to share one more way that I love to use my voice. So I'm a professional speaker and this is my work and I love it, but I also sing. And I love to sing from the time I was a really, really little girl, but I silenced my voice because I was afraid maybe I wasn't good enough or that, I'd be rejected in some way, or that somebody else was better than me and wouldn't think I was all that great. And so I silenced myself until my early 20s when I was in gospel choir in college, and I just decided, you know what, this is my joy and I'm not going to hide this anymore. And so now I don't care. I mean, now I go on LinkedIn and I do videos and I sing and I talk and I do whatever because it's just what lights me up. And I see that when I spread my light, it lights up other people. And that's why I'm wearing the shirt today about the importance of be the light. So I know that many of you know this. Since you're all on mute, you can sing along with me if you want. But this is one of my favorite songs to focus on being a light. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. You guys, this is what it is to be unmuted. This is what it is to show up fully. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to be someone who uses your voice to speak up and to ask for what you need. Someone who's willing to be open about your struggles. Share that with somebody. Someone who's willing to ask for the help that you need. It is brave to ask for help. It is brave, and you are not a burden, and you are not alone. And the quicker you start sharing your story and sharing your struggle, the quicker you will realize that you are not alone. Be willing to use your voice to speak out and to be someone who reaches out to people and who is an encourager and who is a hope bringer and who is a light bearer, because you never know what somebody is going through, and your words could be the exact words that they need to inspire them and bring them out of that dark place. Be someone who uses your voice to spark goodness and hope in the world. And remember this, that when someone comes to mind for you, that you don't question it, that you don't overanalyze it, that you don't hesitate, but you initiate. Reach out. Let them know you're thinking of them. Let them know that they matter, and let them know that they're not alone. Your voice could be the voice of hope that they need today.